Alright, contrarians, welcome to a brand new series where we dive into one of the most influential protocols in DeFi history, Uniswap. I'm Cyphernova from the Decoding Crypto team, and today we're kicking off a 4-part journey to understand what makes Uniswap tick, who built it, who's backing it, and how the Uni token ties it all together. In this first chapter, we're going back to basics. What exactly is Uniswap, and why does it matter? If you've ever swapped tokens on a DEX or provided liquidity, chances are you've used it. But underneath that sleek interface is an entirely new financial model that flipped traditional trading on its head. At its core, Uniswap is a decentralized exchange built on the Ethereum blockchain, but unlike centralized exchanges like Coinbase or Binance, there's no company holding your funds, no need to create an account, and no human matching buyers and sellers. Everything is run by smart contracts, which are self-executing pieces of code living on the blockchain. This makes Uniswap completely decentralized, censorship-resistant, and open to anyone in the world. It's all powered by open-source software, which means the code is public, modifiable, and free to use under a GPL license. What really sets Uniswap apart is how it handles trading. Instead of using a traditional order book where people place bids and asks, Uniswap uses something called an automated market maker, or AMM. It's a bit like replacing the entire Wall Street floor with a vending machine. You put one token in, get another out, and the machine automatically adjusts the price based on supply and demand. The magic behind this vending machine is a simple but powerful formula. X times Y equals K. This formula keeps the product of the two token amounts in a liquidity pool constant. When someone makes a trade, the ratio of the tokens changes, which automatically changes the price. That's how Uniswap determines the exchange rate on the fly without any humans involved. Instead of relying on market makers, Uniswap uses liquidity pools. Anyone can provide a pair of tokens like ETH and USDC to a pool and earn a share of the 0.3% fee charged on every trade. These fees are split among all the liquidity providers, giving regular users a chance to earn passive income just by locking up their tokens. One of Uniswap's biggest advantages is that it's completely permissionless. Anyone can list a token and anyone can trade. There's no central authority to approve or deny what's available. That openness has made it a cornerstone of the broader DeFi ecosystem with integrations into lending protocols, yield farms, and more. So now you understand how Uniswap works and why it's so important to DeFi. But who actually built this protocol? In the next chapter, we'll meet the minds behind Uniswap, starting with Hayden Adams, a laid-off engineer who turned an idea into a multi-billion-dollar protocol. Stick with me as we dive into Chapter 2, the founders of Uniswap. Alright, contrarians, let's talk about the people who brought Uniswap to life, because this protocol didn't come from a big corporate lab. It started with one guy, an idea, and a whole lot of persistence. Meet Hayden Adams. Before he became the face of one of the most important DeFi platforms on the planet, he was a mechanical engineer fresh out of Stony Brook University. He had a steady job at Siemens, but in July 2017, that job disappeared. Laid off and unsure of his next move, Hayden stumbled into the world of Ethereum, and that discovery changed everything. With no formal background in blockchain, Hayden did what a lot of crypto pioneers do. He taught himself. He learned how Ethereum worked, picked up Solidity on his own, and began experimenting with smart contracts. Around that time, he came across a blog post by Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, where Vitalik laid out an idea for a decentralized exchange that didn't need an order book. That simple concept became Hayden's inspiration. He started building. Hayden wasn't working in isolation for long. Carl Flourish from the Ethereum Foundation came in as an early advisor and pushed him to keep going. Khalil Capozzo stepped in to design the user interface, making sure Uniswap was usable and clean from day one. Richard Burton, the founder of Balance, helped fund the early development. Even Vitalik Buterin got involved by reviewing Hayden's early code and suggesting he change the project name from Unipeg to Uniswap. Support also came from the MakerDAO team. At the time, they were looking for decentralized infrastructure to support their growing ecosystem. A permissionless exchange like Uniswap was the perfect fit. By November 2017, Hayden had put together a working proof of concept. By January 2018, there was a rough pre-alpha version with several liquidity providers testing it out. In April of that same year, Hayden met with Vitalik in person. That meeting led to a full code rewrite in Viper, a more secure programming language tailored for Ethereum. Then on November 2nd, 2018, Uniswap v0 launched at DevCon 4 in Prague. That wasn't just a product drop. It was a major moment in DeFi history. A laid-off engineer, a handful of believers, and a bold vision led to the birth of one of the most used protocols in the entire crypto ecosystem. But it takes more than vision and code to build something that lasts. Uniswap's next chapter required serious capital, strategic alliances, and partners who could open the doors to the world. In Chapter 3, we'll explore the investors and partnerships that took Uniswap from a side project to a billion-dollar protocol. Stick around. Alright, contrarians, if you've made it this far, you're clearly not just here for surface-level crypto talk. So do me a favor, hit that like button if you're learning something new, subscribe if you want to keep exploring the real stories behind the protocols that are reshaping finance. And if you know someone who still thinks crypto is just hype, share this video with them. Let's bring them into the deeper end of the pool. Now let's get back to it. Alright, contrarians, welcome back. In this chapter, we're following the money. Because while Uniswap started as a humble Ethereum experiment, it didn't stay that way for long. Behind the protocol's sleek interface and elegant math is a powerhouse of venture capital and strategic partnerships that helped it grow into a billion-dollar protocol. Let's rewind to 2019. That's when Uniswap raised its first seed round. The exact amount wasn't disclosed, but it was enough to give the project its first real push out of the garage. The real momentum came in June 2020, when Uniswap raised $11 million in a Series A round led by none other than Andreessen Horowitz, also known as A16Z. This was the moment the traditional venture capital world started taking DeFi seriously. Then in October 2022, things went to the next level. Uniswap Labs raised a massive $165 million in a Series B round led by Polychain Capital. That brought the company's valuation to $1.66 billion, giving Uniswap official unicorn status. At that point, it was no longer just a protocol, it was a financial infrastructure company with serious firepower. Let's take a closer look at some of the investors backing this. Polychain Capital led the Series B and is known for betting early on foundational blockchain tech. Andreessen Horowitz, one of the biggest names in venture capital, has been involved since the Series A and helped bring institutional legitimacy to DeFi. Paradigm, co-founded by Coinbase's Fred Ursum, was in from the seed stage. Other investors include Variant Investments, SV Angel, Version 1 Ventures, Parify, and A Capital. These firms don't just bring money, they bring networks, strategy, and connections to other projects in the space. But capital wasn't the only thing Uniswap attracted. The team also forged key partnerships that helped onboard the next wave of users. In February 2025, Uniswap integrated with Robinhood to allow crypto to fiat off-ramps. That means users can now convert their crypto into cash and deposit it directly into their bank accounts right from the Uniswap wallet. No third-party exchange needed, no extra steps. Then there's MoonPay, a fiat on-ramp service that lets users buy Uni tokens using credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or direct bank transfers. MoonPay makes it easier for newcomers to enter the Uniswap ecosystem without needing to go through centralized exchanges. And let's not forget Transact, which provides even more fiat gateway options, expanding Uniswap's global reach and making it more accessible across different regions and currencies. The combined force of strategic capital and seamless access has allowed Uniswap to become more than just a place to swap tokens. It's now an entry and exit point for the entire crypto ecosystem. But what about the token itself? In Chapter 4, we'll break down the Uni token, how it was distributed, what it's used for, and how it fits into Uniswap's long-term vision for governance and growth. Stick around. Alright, contrarians, welcome to the final chapter of our Uniswap deep dive. Now that we've explored how Uniswap works, who built it, and who funded it, it's time to look at the fuel powering the entire ecosystem, the Uni token. Uni launched in September 2020 with a total Genesis supply of 1 billion tokens. 60% of that supply was allocated to the Uniswap community. That includes 150 million Uni that were airdropped to historical users, making it one of the most iconic and generous airdrops in DeFi history. The rest of the community allocation, about 43%, is held in the governance treasury, where Uni holders can vote on how those funds are used. The remaining tokens were distributed among the team, investors, and advisors. Team members and future employees received just over 21% of the supply, vested over 4 years. Investors received just over 18%, and advisors were allocated under 1%, also vested over 4 years. Starting 4 years after launch, Uni introduces a 2% annual inflation rate to support ongoing protocol development and incentives. But Uni isn't just a passive token, it comes with real utility. Most importantly, it gives holders the power to govern the Uniswap protocol. That means voting on protocol upgrades, changes to fee structures, and how the treasury is used. Uni holders can also decide whether to activate the protocol fee switch, which would take a small cut of trading fees and direct them to the treasury or token holders. Right now, those fees go entirely to liquidity providers, but that could change through community governance. The governance process is fully on-chain. To submit a proposal, you need at least 1% of the total Uni supply. To pass, a proposal needs a quorum of 4% voting yes. Votes last for 7 days, and if approved, there is a 2-day delay before the change is implemented. This ensures that decisions are thoughtful and transparent, with enough time for discussion. Uni is also used in liquidity mining programs where users can earn tokens by providing liquidity to specific pools. And as Uniswap evolves, there is potential for even more utilities in the future, such as revenue sharing or advanced staking mechanisms tied to protocol upgrades. Speaking of evolution, Uniswap has come a long way since V1 launched in 2018. V2 enabled direct ERC20 to ERC20 swaps. V3 introduced concentrated liquidity, allowing LPs to deploy capital more efficiently. And now V4 is pushing things even further with a singleton architecture, flash accounting, customizable hooks, flexible fee tiers, and native token support. Each version has been a leap forward in how decentralized trading can work. So there you have it. From a single idea and one determined founder to a billion-dollar protocol governed by its users, Uniswap shows what is possible when you combine smart design with strong community values. Whether you are trading, building, or participating in governance, Uniswap has created a foundation for the next era of decentralized finance. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to understand what DeFi is really about. I'm Cypher Nova from the Decoding Crypto team. Stay curious, stay bold, and most importantly, stay decentralized.